Let's finish the 16th chapter of The Mystery of the Cupboard, which is called The Jewel Case. Omri has just discovered that Bert, the little person that he has, was the one who robbed his great grandmother's home and made it so that she had to work almost until she was dead. And now he is pressuring the um, burglar to return what he took, which will, of course, change history. And let's see what will happen. For the rest of the day, Omri went through the motions of normality with his brain in turmoil. Now, no, then, perhaps, at this very moment, no, that wasn't it. But somewhere, sometime, Bert was or wasn't keeping his promise. If he took back the jewels, what would happen? Nothing would happen the way it did happen. Maria might not have to sell the house. She might not have to move to the little house in the East End where Omri's mother grew up. They might not have been poor. Perhaps tomorrow, if Omri asked, his mother would look at him blankly and say, "What are you talking about? Of course my grandmother wasn't poor. We were quite comfortably off." Perhaps next time she was dressing to go out, he would see her putting on an emerald bracelet, a diamond pin. Was it possible that by forcing Bert to take part of his haul back, Omri had meddled once too often? It sounded good, but you never knew. You couldn't know what even a tiny change in history could cause. Omri put his head on the table and groaned aloud. "What's wrong, darling? Have you got a pain?" "No, I'm sorry." He pushed himself up from the table. "Sorry, I have to go to the—" All right," said his father testily. "No need for a public announcement." Omri went upstairs to his bedroom and sat down where he had been before. Slowly he pulled the cupboard out from under the bed and opened it. The three figures were there, plastic now, of course. They were different from the ones you could buy today. They were the same figures Frederick had given to Jessica Charlotte when such toys first began to be made. They really were crude, as he had said. You could see where the mold hadn't fit together properly and the liquid plastic had made a sort of frill around the figure. They weren't painted or colored. They were just a reddish brown. The other interesting thing was that the people looked young. Ted was wearing the uniform of a policeman from the turn of the century. Elsie was a young girl in a long dress with a bustle at the back and her hair pulled on her head. Bert, a typical burglar, wearing an eye mask that he hadn't worn when he was real. But the sack was there, a little rough brown lump in Bert's plastic hand. Omri set the cupboard where he'd thought of it being, in the center of his line of shelves, piled on the bricks. He stared at the bricks, Little Bear, Bright Stars, and the others were there, in the hollows between, lying as if waiting. It wouldn't take a second to get them out, but no, he'd broken enough of his promises to himself. He decided it would be best to keep the three figures of Ted, Elsie, and Bert in the cash box. He lifted off the magazine he'd thrown over it and raised the lid. Only then did he see the fifth package and remember about the aquamarine earrings. And that is the end of chapter 16.